Welcome to Offsite Dirt, the podcast committed to news and insight in the offsite construction industry. Join our team of experts covering modern methods of construction, high performance build, lean manufacturing, prefab, and beyond. Here's the dirt on Offsite Dirt. Hello and welcome to Offsite Dirt. I'm Audrey Grabesic, the founder, and most excited about our special guest, which is also one of our contributors. Sneha Kumari has been with us for several years. I have been at different events with her. I've heard her speak, and this lady is truly a great asset in lean manufacturing. Actually, her show is called Leanify. Welcome, Sneha. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing, and I'm super pumped to be talking to you, turning tables on the other side and being interviewed by you. So this is amazing, and we get to talk about my most favorite topic, right? Lean.
I know, and you're so good at it. So, what is your approach to lean manufacturing?
Yes, absolutely. Let's get into that a little bit, and lean is about so many things. There's so many terms, there's so many jargons thrown out there for you. And I will someday be very happy if I could do small learnings for every single topic and just bring it all together for someone. So on my mind, work in progress, will definitely work on something, getting out something like that someday. But I'm just gonna focus on one key aspect of lean, which is, value stream. And value stream linkage, value stream mapping, and I want people to understand what that really means. So when people throw this, when we throw this term called value stream, what do you get, what do you understand about it? It's actually all the processes that's required, and the people that's required to deliver whatever you're building, which is a module, a panel, a truss, or whatever, to your customer, right? And for you to do that, everything in your organization has to align. Your information has to flow, right? From actually taking, um, getting an order from your customer to actually making it and delivering it, and information flow, right? So that's pretty much what we mean when we talk about value stream. And when we are talking about, bringing this all together, mapping, you're actually talking about improving processes and upskilling your people to deliver some breakthrough results, right? In the realm of that process that you use to build that product and deliver it, right? Now, I'm sharing a little bit about value stream mapping here, and it's important to understand that it's not just about your operations. It's everything from supplier to your customer and everything in between. It's big. It pretty much gives you, if you have successfully done this exercise, you literally have a visual footprint of how you actually go about in building that product, which is pretty cool. Trust me. If you ever do that exercise, and every time I've done that with any of our customers in any of the Kaizen events, it's just mind-boggling, to see what you thought you were doing versus what you actually see is going on, in your organization. So it's pretty eye-opening, I would say, right? And I'm just going to talk about what's my approach, right? So I have a step by step process on how I go about doing this, how I make sure that every aspect of your value stream is in alignment and actually being able to deliver a winning business and manufacturing model for you, right? And drive that business that you probably are that reads through your customer, that reads through your P&L and your balance sheet, right? That's exactly what you want. And it has to start with doing this, right? And in my step-by-step process, the first step is actually identifying who's the sponsor of this project, right? Who's the project leader? And then what's your business and manufacturing model? And what do I mean by that? Means, you might be, if you're doing different business, if you're doing different product families that you're delivering, you really need to understand what is unique about your product that you're delivering to your customer. And trust me, I mean, if you think you're just delivering a single family, it's not just single family. There might be definitely something unique going on your mind when you started this business, and what you want to achieve with your customers. And that could be faster, building homes faster. That could be building homes, it doesn't matter if it's faster, it's the highest quality, right? There could be different aspects that you focus on or cater to with your customers, and that really has to read through your business model. And then once that is identified, once I've done that interview with the customers, that guides the manufacturing model, right? That gives you an idea of what exactly or how exactly your manufacturing model should look like. And eventually will guide, of course, the details of how the processes will change. And then I have to then go into mapping your current state. Then we get into your ideal future state, a visual representation of, process, material, information flow, right? And something as simple as how will you manage your orders and the demand fluctuation both from your suppliers, and then how is that gonna schedule as work orders in the factory, and things like that. And something that I absolutely do is pretty much defining what's the action plan, what are those KPIs that you have to look at, right? And then comes into, excuse me, sorry. And then we touch into little bit aspects of everything from sales, inventory, and operations planning, right? Which will include everything from estimating to procurement to scheduling, field operations. And of course, once now slowly you're coming on the floor, you're level scheduling, right? What does that mean? That means that you want to make sure that you you know you're able to level out your demand and make sure that you control your schedule by diving deeper and breaking down your understanding your work order, your time between your tasks, and your resource requirement and stuff like that, right?
Just a few small steps.
Few small steps. Yeah.
So I'm just going to recap. First of all, many of you may not know this. Sneha has created, with her background and experience, an 11-step process for this. So it is very involved. I love a couple of things that she had touched on. Who is the project manager? What is unique product identification? Aspects of focus on your product. You need to read through the business model, how it applies, and then guides you through the manufacturing model. What is it supposed to look like? Where is the guiding through the process, the mapping, mapping it out, then looking at all these other processes through your company. Again, I'm reading more and more out there that large companies, corporations are all starting to utilize these practices. I think it all started, and I could be wrong, but started in, transportation with Toyota. And Toyota came out with this factory and came out with these principles. And these principles have really identified and changed the way that they manufacture. And more people are going to those facilities and checking them out. But as we are looking at the offsite construction industry and panels, steel frame manufacturing, CLT, wood frame, all of these are manufactured products that are a process and a solution to creating more housing. So again, it's not just about the building and the construction. It truly all comes back to manufacturing, right, Sneha?
Absolutely. It's high time that we understand that we have to adopt manufacturing principles in our processes to actually unlock that profitability for all of us, right? That's the shift that we claim when we said that we are moving from traditional construction to offsite construction. And if we have to do that, that cannot just happen in us saying that we are moving to a productized construction. That also needs to see through in the way we are actually executing this productized construction, right? And that can only happen once we start adopting these manufacturing lean principles.
It's funny, 100 years ago, offsite construction existed. We existed with the Sears Kit House. We existed with Buckminster Fuller coming up with the geodesic dome and all these different principles of building in a factory or shipping a kit of parts to the location and assembling. But over the last, I'm going to say 8 years that I've been in the industry, which has been extremely moving from one side of the world to the next. And it's just fascinating to me, all these new factories that are coming up. And typically it is technology people coming together and figuring out this solution for housing. And then there are construction developers or builders that are like, now I'm going to go into manufacturing a home, or I'm going to be building it. And it's these traditional principles that now actually have to change and convert. So how does lean manufacturing with these processes and being able to walk into these factories, Sneha, that you have walked into, that you have helped, what does your client say after they've been through your process?
I would say that they are very pleasantly surprised, right? Once you, a lot of times when, when customers are looking for something like this, they have some idea, but they don't really understand the full potential and power of what this could do for their factory, for their processes, right? So they're very, especially in construction, right? Manufacturing has seen this, as you said, because of Toyota for so long now, and construction is starting to get it, right? And they are embracing it, and that's why the need for this skill. But pleasantly surprised is the right word, which pretty much highlights how they were not seeing the flow that now they can, how they were not seeing the space that they were like, you always are in the mindset that, oh, I don't have enough space where I'm going to stock these materials, where I'm going to build, keep my finished goods and stuff like that. So very pleasantly surprised in seeing how things can totally change once you do this exercise. And then give it a couple months, you actually start seeing that read through your, P&L and your balance sheet. Now that really, makes a big difference. And then you start believing in the power, you start believing in the changes. And I have to leave everyone with this very key idea that everyone has to have in mind, that lean isn't just going to come and magically change everything. It is not that. Your people has to know the why behind why you're going this route. And if your people do not come together to do this, and you do not have the patience of this change management, no matter what any lean expert would come in and do, you will never be successful. Do not let any lean practitioner come and tell you that this is going to magically change your business operations. It doesn't work like that. Respect for people and patience to upskill people while you're on this journey is immensely important. And I cannot stress this enough for you to be successfully implementing this concept and being readying yourself for this journey.
I love that you're saying it's a journey, because when we walk into offsite construction with many of these factories and factories owners, we all know that there is a deficit of housing. We see it, we live it, we hear it. We know that we need housing. We need more productivity. And what I'm finding is, and I have relationships with probably 40 or 50 factories, United States. And I take them dearly, and I'm always a big cheerleader for them because I know how incredibly difficult this operation is. Anybody that has walked into it, they are dedicated. They are putting thousands and thousands of hours of their life into creating something to help the greater good, to build something out there that can be built better, to design something that can enhance the way that we live. And so it is a journey, and it's kind of like life's a journey. It's not I'm going to make this quick run and I'm going to get through it. It's literally about the tools and the assets of learning. And so it always comes from leadership. And if leadership can understand how truly important this is, it's only going to benefit their bottom line. It's only going to benefit the culture and the teamwork within those facilities. And from that, we are seeing those facilities that are now purchasing and doing it again and again and again. And so I give them a lot of credit because, again, Sneha, this is a very tough industry. Everybody looks to building and construction as this big powerhouse of immense amounts of money coming in. And the reality is it's cash flow. The reality is it's the effectiveness of your team and in building. And then lastly, I'd love to touch on just briefly supply chain. That has been 3 years ago when COVID hit, supply chain was nil. factories were getting all their products from overseas and other places, and then they couldn't get them into the United States. So now we're seeing this big shift of manufacturing coming back in the United States, and we're seeing this big shift in conversation about supply chain. Can you just give us a brief overview?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, the best part of COVID, everyone knew what I was doing, right? You had the president speak about supply chain. And so that was the best part for me out of COVID because everyone understood what supply chain meant, right? At least in some form, shape and form, right? Which was amazing. Now, suddenly, supply chain that has been here forever, actually, wherever you are listening to this episode, look around you. Every single thing that you see around you has a supply chain running behind it. Believe me, right? So a lot of folks, supply chain folks, a lot of materials, a lot of in like companies making that happen for you, right? So supply chain pretty much touches your product from inception to finally delivering it to your customer. Like it's massive. And every time I say supply chain to my friends here in this industry, they're like, "Oh, you mean logistics? Oh, you mean procurement?" I'm like, "No, supply chain is everything. Supply chain is everything from procurement to logistics and everything in between, which is bringing your raw materials in to actually managing your inventory and purchasing and procurement and warehouse logistics and reverse logistics and everything, right? And so we saw how important all of this is once COVID hit, as you said, right? Because the lead time started going up, your costs were over the roof, right? You were struggling to get materials, and and all of that actually shifted your focus in understanding how do you manage risks in supply chain, right? Before that, we probably were thinking about it, but not really taking concrete actions for it. And after COVID hit, you would have seen companies taking real solid actions on how to manage risks. And when I say risks, meaning developing local co-located suppliers or reducing your lead time or changing your inventory replenishment strategy on how to keep up with. I still remember like steel was going crazy with the lead times and bad with the pricing, right? It has of course stabilized now, but there's always something fun to do in this world of supply chain. All I would say is when you're thinking supply chain, think about everything from actually looking at your sourcing process strategically, right? And understanding your spend there to actually analyzing your spend, right? And have clear KPIs, indicators to understand where that's going. You need to have a control of spend. You would be surprised uh, how soon that can go out of your hands if you were not looking at it and you were probably making multiple runs to Home Depot to get stuff, right? Things get expensive. Having a strategy for the commodities that you buy, and and then once you have all of these in place, it'll help you enable better sourcing, project execution. You're able to assess your suppliers and then select them accordingly because then they will align with what your KPIs are and continue to monitor your supplier performances, right? Simple as that. Like I tried to keep it simple here. A lot goes in streamlining your process to be able to keep up with all of this, but I think these are some of the guiding principles to keep up with your and optimize your supply chain.
Not to mention, as we all are aware, it also affects our estimating
A
and it
lot.
affects that part, right? And so when we're getting overwhelmed with where the supplies are coming from, then we're looking at how do we build our modules or our panels or our CLT platform? How do we build those with the materials that we currently have in our warehouse? Do we know what we have? And then what are those exact costs for building each of those productized pieces, right?
Absolutely.
So
As
estimating is huge.
huge, huge. And you are burned down in spreadsheets to figure out what your historical costs were. You also want to know what's out there in the market that might be cheaper or better, right? In our in the pursuit of looking for better materials, right? We talk about it. That's also some information that you need on your fingertips. But yes, huge estimating requires all these cost estimates, your lead time estimates, your BOM details, all of that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why Offsite Dirt has also partnered with Wesco. because Wesco is a distribution company that actually talks to suppliers. They review and go through a strategy on which ones they're going to work with. They also have their finger on the pulse of when those materials are becoming available, new ones that are entering into the system. If you go to Offsite Dirt, you're going to see all of our strategic partners for a real reason. They're not just there to be out there and showing off their business. They're critical to the way that we utilize and construct. That's what's so cool about what we're doing in our community. So with that, Sneha, I am certainly proud and honored to have you a part of our community, contributing, doing your show on Leanify. And I can't wait until we get into the next show talking about your offsite construction platform, Merlin AI, that is actually such a sophisticated construction system to actually help us end to end with our businesses. Anything quickly that you want to give on that business?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely looking forward to talking more about Merlin AI the next time we chat more, and we'll get into some magical functions that we have implemented, especially for this industry. You and I have special love for this industry, and everything we are doing today and probably and tomorrow too will be to support the industry going forward. All I would say is I keep saying this, and I'm gonna continue saying this: is embrace change, right? High time. Embrace change when it comes to both improving your processes and also adopting technologies. Make sure that you pick the right people to guide you in this process. And all I can say is the wave is coming. It's gonna big for us, and it's gonna be big for us. And while it's this whole industry is moving on the path of becoming big, we want to make sure that we make the most out of this as we grow our businesses. And so I would say keep leanifying your processes and keep adopting the right technology that can take you to this path of being a profitable business.
Amen. And so love that Sneha Kumari does consulting, lean manufacturing, factory operations and solutions, digital supply chain. She also does different speaking engagements and talks very fluidly about all these amazing manufacturing and productivity opportunities for your business. I hope that you will check her out. And obviously, we are so dedicated to this industry and making it bigger and better. If you have a story out there, or there's a way that we can help you, please make sure to check in with us. And as always, that's the dirt on Offsite Dirt. For Sneha and myself, thank you for being here. Have a great day.
Thank you.